Yep, that's spiked.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. Hi. Welcome back. I'm Derek.
Hello. I'm Steven.
And welcome to the RC Lawn Chair Pilots podcast. Roll. All right, and welcome back.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Thanks for tuning in. You've made it to episode 11.
Woohoo!
Yay.
We're super excited. We've got some pretty awesome things going on.
Yeah. Switching the format up a little bit today, so hopefully it works out and hopefully it's enjoyable for you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna try something a little new. So
bear
hold on.
Bear with us. It's not going to be completely weird, but still.
Yeah.
So for starters, October just ended, which means our month-long 15% off at rcbattery.com is done. Sad face. Well,
yeah,
hopefully you got in there and you got yourself some new equipment, some new batteries, new charger if you needed, whatever, and you're ready to go. Yes, we are coming on the build season, but hey, you can still fly. And speaking of build season, it's getting cold outside, at least for 90% of our viewer/listenership that is in the northern hemisphere near United States. We have some New Zealanders.
Oh, do we really?
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're enjoying this.
Like we're reaching across the globe.
Well,
it's pretty cool.
That means it's getting warmer for you guys, and
Look.
you're getting ready to go out and start flying again if you haven't already. So, awesome.
Yeah. So building season is upon us. So you're going to be probably hearing a lot less flying from us and a lot more building, which is awesome because I have so much stuff to build.
I've actually got a few things to build too.
Awesome. All right. What do you got for news? That was my news.
Oh, is that your news?
Oh.
Wow.
No, I have one more bit of news that can go here. I'm sorry.
Okay, put it here.
Okay, so there's a company out there called Gillows. They make really light-duty balsa kits. They're the company that makes this Piper Cub that's on the wall behind me.
Okay.
So they make small-scale balsa models. This Piper Cub is, what's the wingspan?
It was, we looked at it last time, 24-inch wingspan.
24-inch wingspan. So these kits, brand new, are like $30-$40.
Okay.
Not bad.
Not too bad.
And they're free flight models. They do make some, and these ones are designed that you can power them with a glow engine, a really small glow engine, or some of them, they like specifically say convert to radio control. That's what I plan on doing with all four of mine.
Yeah.
Well, they also make some larger ones that are designed for static models or control line or radio control if you really want to work at it. And they make a B-17 that's got a 48-inch wingspan.
Yes, I remember you talking to me about that.
Brand new, which you can't hardly ever find because they're out of production or they're out of stock. Who knows? They're like $120.
So are you getting one?
I have one that will arrive tomorrow as of this recording. I got it for $60 shipped.
Wow. So
brand new, never been opened. I love the B-17. It is an amazing plane.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Like, you think World War II bomber, B-17.
All over it.
Right there.
That's what it is.
Yeah. I am so excited.
So that means, so when you guys watch this or listen to this,
I'll have already received it.
It will have been 12 days since we recorded.
Yeah.
So this is literally tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is freaking
UPS
awesome.
will drop it off tomorrow.
Okay.
I am so excited. It's 48-inch wingspan, 4 props, so 4 motors.
Whoa.
Full aileron elevator rudder. I've already found build threads on rcgroups.com where people have built this and converted it to RC, and some of them have done a absolute stellar job. One guy even put bomb drops in.
You totally have to do that.
He put in bomb bay doors, and then
they
you fill
open.
Yeah, they open and close. And then he filled it full of like the little firecracker snaps that you throw on the ground and they pop. He filled it full of those and flew over the runway and just strafed the field and I am so excited. Okay. I am so nervous because it's a very small and delicate build.
Yeah.
But if I can do it, like I'm going to build a lot of things before I get to it. So it's going to go on my shelf and it's going to sit in its nice little space by itself
for a while.
Safe for a while until I get more comfortable in my balsa skills. But once I get them, my word, this plane is going to be amazing. And it's much cheaper than the really, really, really big B-17 I want to buy.
Yeah. I've seen some
So
pretty big.
I'm getting my fix on a small one.
That's pretty awesome. Good luck with that. That's
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it will probably be next year before you
Start.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got 4 Gillows kits that I want to do because that'll get me introduced to how Gillows works. And then I've got a couple other planes that I need to finish up. So, but it's coming. I'm super stoked for it.
You know what that means?
What?
You need to buy more covering.
Yeah, I still need to figure out how to. So these models are typically covered with tissue paper, including the B-17. But no, I won't be doing that. I will be doing some sort of film cover.
But since it's the B-17, you have to find the right colors.
Oh yeah, no, it will be. It'll be colored
you need to find
properly.
like a gray or a silver.
Oh yeah.
Something.
Oh yeah.
Or even a green, army green or something.
I will find
okay. All right,
the right colors, and I will do this B-17 properly.
All right. Then
it may become my hangar queen, and I'll never fly it. The one with the bomb doors even had retractable landing gear.
Oh my god!
So it may just be my hangar queen that I occasionally plug in and just run all the things to make it look cool, and then never do anything with it.
Never fly it.
But it'll fly with, I think, 4-inch propellers and really tiny micro quad 2,000 kV motors.
You need to fly it at least once.
I will, but I will have to practice my tail off because I'm so scared of it. I'll
totally
be more scared of that than my flying wing.
I totally understand what you mean, though.
So that's going to happen, and I'm so excited.
So my news is pretty easy. Just 2 basic things. I ordered some speed controllers and got them in.
Nice.
And
speed controllers, right?
For DC for brushed motors.
Yeah. Okay. So car speed controllers.
Yes. And then Derek gave me his father-in-law's, or his father-in-law gave me his simple sticks.
Slow sticks.
Slow sticks.
Oh,
And
did
so
I tell you
I've
simple
got,
stick?
Yeah.
They're slow sticks.
Yeah,
the
I've got
GWS slow stick. You can still buy the kits.
1.5.
You have 2 fuselages that are more or less intact, and you have 3 wings.
Yes.
And then a whole bunch of parts.
A whole bunch of parts. I will probably be able to eventually get both of them up and running.
Yeah.
But my goal is during this build season is to finish 1.
Sweet.
And I want to fly it, but just get 1 finished, and then come spring, unless we get a really nice and warm December or something.
Which we're on track for at this point.
Yeah. So that's really and those speed controllers are going in my RC car that I've been working on. So I talked about this last time briefly that I started it. No. I started the Arduino project.
Yes.
So
yes, you
I'm
did.
still working on that, but this is a separate project.
Nice.
So
stay tuned. RC car coming up.
Yeah, we got something. We got something
right there.
We have got something. So that moves me right into the products. So the product that I've got is the Hobby Power RC 10 amp brushed ECS speed controller.
ESC.
What did I say?
ECS.
Oh, ESC speed controller. It's for 1/16, 1/18, or 1/24 car, boat, tank, but it's without a brake.
That's fine.
So
does it have forward and reverse?
Yes.
Oh,
it
nice.
does have forward and reverse.
Nice.
It just, it doesn't, like, if you kill it, it will, like, if you let it go to 0,
it'll keep rolling.
It'll just roll. It won't stop it.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
No big deal. Which for what I'm building right now, I don't care about that. I can just throw it in reverse.
And that'll stop it.
And that'll stop
fine.
it.
It'll eventually burn out your motor, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I don't care.
Sweet.
I didn't get a new motor for it. But
that'd be fun to motor that thing up.
I'm going to eventually. But I also so the new batteries, I've been playing with them.
As we should, because we're supposed to be.
Because we're supposed to be. And I am impressed. This LIPO 800
it's a 2S.
S25C. And I tried to plug it into something that I should not have. And when I was beginning to plug it in, as soon as it went to a short, I saw a little blue light that wasn't supposed to be there. And then it fused one of the connector plugs, one of the pins.
One of the balance leads.
Yeah, on the balance lead. And it still works. The battery did not get destroyed. So I am impressed so far with how well this and that was an unintentional testing.
Thankfully, the balance lead handles just a single cell voltage, so it's not a high voltage.
Well, it was it was both of them. That's why it did it.
Well, you connect any. Oh, well, still.
It was all 3 wires connected to one on accident. That was the problem. I didn't realize that what I was connecting it to was actually feeding back the other 2 wires into one.
Yeah. Sparky, go upstairs.
So that's what happened.
Yeah.
But I tested the battery because I could still kind of plug it in, and it worked just fine. So I'm going to replace the lead, which is a very challenging thing to do. You must not cut all 3 at the same time because you get the same effects.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you don't.
I've never done that.
Yeah, he has. I mean, so anyway, so far I have been impressed with these batteries, and that is one more thing. It didn't smoke the battery. It didn't burn it out. Now, I had it in my hand, and, I was paying attention, but very, very impressed so far. Like,
nice.
Very, very impressed.
Well, there you go.
You can break them or try to, and they still work. And that's pretty much my products right now. I do have my 5-channel RC MD5
VDM.
Yeah, VDM5 that I'm using. But I've talked about that a couple times. That is what I'm putting in my RC car.
Yeah.
To control it. So, and I'm we'll talk
where
about
did you
that.
So where did you get the Hobby Power brushed ESCs?
I bought that off of Amazon.
Okay.
So I
link in description.
Yeah, you'll see that down
below.
Send
me the link so I can put it in the description.
I will. You'll see that down below. And the reason I picked those ones is because they were relatively inexpensive. They were a 4-pack, and they were the range that I was looking for what I wanted to do on this first project. Now, when I decide to upgrade, I will let you know what I do. But this first one, I'm super excited.
Cheap and dirty is a good way to go on your first one.
Exactly. So what do you got for your product that you're working with?
So I want to talk a little bit about these battery straps that rcbattery.com sent us.
Okay.
So in a lot of my early planes, hang on. So in a lot of my early planes, what I would do and what a lot of people do to hold their batteries in place is you lay down some Velcro in the battery compartment.
Yeah.
And then you lay down the mating piece of Velcro on your battery.
Okay. Yeah. So
that your battery gets put in there and strapped down or adhered down temporarily.
Yeah.
But you can also position it along that Velcro strap.
Yeah.
Or Velcro strip to fit it in the right place and get your balance correctly.
Yeah.
So in my Simple Cub, I took it out flying, and I'll tell you more about that. But in my Simple Cub, I've got a strip of the hook side of the Velcro in there. And the previous battery I used, it had the fuzzy side of the Velcro. I didn't want... Yeah, the loop. There you go. Thank you. I didn't want to put Velcro on my brand new LIPO batteries. So instead, what I did is I'm like, ooh, I wonder if one of these straps would be short enough. And lo and behold, it was. I was able to... What you can do, and keep this in mind for anybody that doesn't want to put Velcro on their batteries, you loop the Velcro, the strap around your battery, so long as it's the right size. Strap it down, and I now have these 2 little contact pads of fuzzy Velcro
that you can use on your hook side.
Yeah, I put it in there, and I set it down, and I pressed it into place, balanced it out, and it stayed through it. Like, it didn't move through an entire crash. I crashed the Cub, and the battery, it did not detach. The battery didn't move.
Very cool.
And the other nice thing about this is these straps have this PVC
Protective,
coating
yeah.
on the outside to help grip it to the battery.
Mhm.
So not only will these not slide on the battery, the Velcro holds it in place.
That is, yeah.
So it adds a little bit of weight to your overall thing.
Well, I mean, like everything you
Yeah.
put in there adds a little bit of weight.
But on bigger builds like a Cub and stuff like that,
It's minimal.
It's minimal. It's not going to hurt anything. But I found this to be a very elegant and easy and clean way to attach my battery, because I don't care about putting Velcro in my models most of the time, especially the foam board ones.
Yeah.
I care about putting Velcro on my batteries. I don't like doing that.
Yeah. It kind of.
So
I think it looks tacky, personally. Like
Yeah.
It just and then the Velcro starts to wear off and gets sticky, and then
it just makes a mess.
Yeah.
So I like this solution. So there you go. Use battery straps that are just big enough to Velcro your batteries in place.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I was pleased with that bit of
You could have thrown
ingenuity.
that as a beginner tip.
That was going to be a beginner tip, but I liked it better as a product
Yeah.
placement.
Well, that's fine.
So, as for other products, I'm looking around, thinking back on what I've done in the past 2 weeks. And the rest of it I can talk about it. I'll tell you about in my
I have a
project
servo.
updates.
I have a servo too.
Yay, servos!
But I don't know what it is, so we'll talk more about that servo
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, latest outings.
Latest outings.
So I told you about taking the mini Mustang up to the water towers.
Yes.
That was a great time. Crashed the plane, brought it home, fixed it that night.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I took it to work.
And you flew it.
And I flew it.
And?
It flew great.
Nice.
Everything went great. I got a several-minute flight on it. Brought it in. So landing on concrete hurts.
Okay, I can see that.
It was a nice, perfect landing. Came in nice and smooth. Everything was fine. But when I landed, I did something to my servos.
Oh.
I think I stripped the gears.
Oh.
On my aileron servos.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So both my aileron servos for the Mustang are dead. I need to test them to make sure, but they're dead.
Oh.
So earlier today, I took all the electronics out of my Mustang. I taped it together so it all stayed in one piece, and I gave it to my boys to toss around the house.
Oh.
And they have been just loving it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I found that is what I like to do. After I'm done with a plane, I take it all apart. I take all the electronics out.
Scavenge as much as you can.
I scavenge what I can, and then I give it to the boys, and they go nuts with it. They have fun tossing it to each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does it glide pretty well then?
It surprisingly does.
Huh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it weighs nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it weighs a few ounces, but not enough to do much.
Near nothing.
Yeah. So that is the end of the mini Mustang, but that is okay. The boys are having a great time with it.
Okay.
It'll last them through the weekend.
You think so? It'll last that long?
Maybe. they beat it up quite a bit this evening, and they've had it for 3 hours. So there was that, and then I decided flying at work is fun. I'm taking the Simple Cub out.
Oh.
So I took the Simple Cub to work.
Nice.
So I got that out, same parking lot area. Had a great flight. I put it up, flew around for a couple minutes, landed beautifully. And then I decided I'm going to do a rolling takeoff because I've never really done those because those are weird, especially on a plane that's as loose as a flight test plane that's built by me. Yeah. So
Does
I did
it have wheels?
Yeah, it does. It
Oh,
has
okay.
landing gear. Yeah.
Okay.
Landings are great. I did great on my landings, but I took it off and takeoff was a little squirrely, but I flew it around for a bit. And then it started acting kind of funny on me. My rudder servo was twitching
Okay.
the
Yeah, that
entire
sucks.
time. Yeah. But then I I pulled out of a weird dive and it came really low and I clipped the front end and it broke the prop.
Oh.
And then it tore the firewall off of the power pod. So the motor is now hanging down underneath.
Oh my.
But so
Okay.
it came down and it skipped and broke that front end off.
Yeah.
And then it came back up and under no power,
You
I
glided
glided it in for a perfect landing. The motor's not staying on and it's missing half its prop, but it landed perfectly after that skip. And I have GoPro video of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we get
From
to see it.
From my head cam.
Okay, so we'll get to see it
Yeah.
eventually.
Yep.
All right. All right. That's awesome. That is
So there you go.
that is very
That has
awesome.
been my two latest outings. The other outings I've had is I got on the flight simulators. I got on Real Flight 8 and I spent some time in Pika Sim just having fun.
Okay.
Well, actually, in Real Flight 8, I got one of the trainer planes, and I did touch and goes. Just sat there and do loops. I'd get really good loops, and I'd practice my final approach, and then coming in and touching and landing for a little bit, and then taking back off. So really, because flying is relatively easy, landing is the hard part.
Yes.
Especially like learning how to approach something that's not straight at you or straight away from you, but
At an angle.
at an angle in front of you and across your path.
Yes.
That is a weird line to come in with.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time practicing that.
So I mean that we're gonna. Looks like that's the last thing you got on your
Yeah,
outings
that's been
So-
the extent of my outings. I've been doing a lot of projects.
That is my outing also.
All right.
I loaded up I loaded up the flight simulator.
Pika Sim? Or did you do your drone one?
No, Picasim, because I was practicing the glider.
Ah, perfect.
So I've loaded up the glider that matches my Radeon the best, my Night Radeon.
Yes.
It's not powered; it's just a glider.
Is that the red and orange one?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Sweet.
But it has the same controls and
Rudder and elevator only,
Yeah.
no ailerons.
Yep.
Polyhedral wing.
Yeah, so very, very similar makeout to my Night Radeon
Make out?
makeup.
There you go.
Whatever.
You
And
better not be making out with your planes.
And so I started flying, and I'm like, okay, so I can stay in the air in the simulator for almost as long as I want.
Oh, yeah. Were
Like-
you sloping or were you in a field doing thermals?
I did both.
Okay, cool.
Sloping, I literally only came down when I wanted to. I could slope all day long.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I got to the point I'm like, okay, I need to land this thing because the time is, I need to land. I need to do something else. I need to land, and I crashed it.
Yeah.
So then I went to a field and did thermals, flew it for, again, not
With-
as long, but
with-
almost as long.
With the high start launch?
Yes.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, flying isn't my problem here.
No.
I can fly.
Landing is the nightmare.
Landing is the nightmare. It really is. And so I spent after that flight. So that was my second flight of when I was playing.
Mhm.
I probably played for an hour and a half.
Okay.
First two flights were roughly 25 minutes between the two of them.
Shoot.
Yeah, the first flight, it was like 15 minutes. I just stayed up there, and that was the slope.
Yeah.
Again, this is on the simulator, right? And then
It's easy to do that in real life, too.
And then the second flight was thermals from a high start in a field.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I realized flying is not my problem. I can fly. It's scary in real life, but I can
Yeah,
still
it
do
is.
it. And so for the next roughly hour that I was playing, all I did was I did a high start, and I circled down and landed.
Nice.
My flights were never more than 45 seconds unless I couldn't get it to land.
Yeah.
And that's all I did was land over and over.
Well, and landing with a 2-channel is a lot harder than landing with a 3-channel, which has ailerons.
I'm sure it is, but landing with a 2-channel, it can be very challenging because there
Oh,
were
yeah.
times where it's like, it just came in, I was like, boop, nice and soft. And other times I try to come in and it's like, I get close and it's like, it bounces off the air and I have to like circle around again. And
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, because with ailerons, you can sit there and you can level yourself out. Without ailerons, it's a lot harder.
yeah, you gotta line up. You have to have room so you can line up your plane
Yeah.
to put it on the ground. That's one of the big things I've noticed with my glider. Now, my glider, my Radeon, has a powered motor. So at any moment, if I feel that the landing is not going well, I can turn
You
in
can
real
bail.
life. I can turn it on and go up again and start over.
Yeah. Whereas
Assuming
with a non-powered glider, there's no
you're committed.
yeah, you commit as soon as that plane is in the air.
Yeah, unless of course you're slope flying.
Yeah,
because
you're still committed. You have to land at some point.
Well, you will have to land eventually, yeah, but you can usually throw it back out and try again. How many times did you try?
I did that final approach for that second flight 4 times.
Yeah. So you do get when you're slope flying. But anyway, So I've been doing a lot of the flight simulator because what I've found out, especially with the night Radeon, it has a really large flying radius. And after I destroyed my elf,
Yeah.
I became a little terrified that I am going to destroy another plane.
That's fair.
And I don't want to do that.
No.
But I want to go fly.
Yes.
So I practice on the simulator. Because I can fly, I just can't land.
Yeah. Landing's the hard part.
I just need to put it up once and then just fly until I am done. And then be done with the flight and never fly that plane again. Just let it fly away because I'll never land it.
That's how you burn through a lot of money really fast, kids.
No, don't do that. Anyway, so back to that's my only outing is been flying on the simulator, and I'm getting better at landing. I had several really good landings, and I had
Nice.
some
Less good landings.
less good landings. So,
No, that's good. It's a good start.
all right. So
Project updates.
I think this is we're going to jump into project updates, right? So this is
All right.
where we're going to change the format.
This
at
is
least
where
for
we're going to
today.
go a little weird.
Yeah, we're going to get all
Hopefully it
kind of
translates well for you.
funky. So we're going to transition to over there. And you might see a couple, over there.
Yep.
You might see a couple different, the video might change, and we're going to see how we can do the microphones. So give us just a second, and we'll be right back. All right, guys. So we're going to be
We'll see how
swapping
this
back
works.
and forth. So right here, as you guys can see, this is my RC car that I've been converting. It's a Tyco truck, actually. I've pulled most of it apart and took out all of the guts and have been redoing a bunch of things. So in here, this is the motor controller, our speed controller that I purchased that we talked about. And here is the here's the receiver that we got, the VD5M. So, and I have plugged this bad boy in with my new LIPO. I'm going to take this off because I got the strap on there, so it's easy to pull it on and off. This is the 1000 20C 2S LIPO battery that I'm using for this one. Mostly because the 800, as I had a slight accident.
Because you plugged it in wrong?
I had a slight accident. I can show you that at another time, Derek.
All right.
Okay.
You have footage of your slight accident?
No, but I
Yeah.
can show you what damage it did. So it's an Emax S8 or ES08A analog.
Hang on.
For you guys on the video, there you go. This is the servo that I've planned to use for my controlling the steering. And then give us one more second. We'll be right back. Okay. So
All right, we're back.
I forgot my controller.
It's mildly important when you're working on something like this.
It really is. So I want to show you real quick how I've got this thing set up. So I've got my battery in there. The nice thing is this thing has
got
an
a power
on and off
switch.
switch, which is freaking awesome. So we lift up the back end, and I'm going to
does
turn it on.
Move.
I just put the wheels on today,
Should we get a block to put that on?
but we might want to do that in a minute, but I want to show you.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, wait, what's going on here? Did it not reconnect? Oh,
Is that supposed to be connected to this?
yes.
Always plug things all the way in, boys and girls.
Yeah, let's turn that
Yeah,
off.
turn it off first.
Plug everything. I had it all unplugged. Not all unplugged, but mostly unplugged on the way over here. So, all right. So, try this again. Lift it up. Okay. Then.
Oh, my. Yes. That looks like it runs really well.
Okay. Two things I have to do on the controller. One is I want to have it have a subtle gauge. So when I throttle up, it's not all throttle all
It's
at
not
the,
all
at the
go.
beginning.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it does throttle a little bit different. You know,
But you want it to ramp better.
I want it to ramp more.
Okay.
So when I get to 25%, I want to be only about 10%.
Yeah.
And when I get to 75%, I'm closer to
100.
closer to 85
Yeah.
to 100%.
Okay. Sweet.
That's what I want to do. And if you notice, the other thing with that, the controls
Are backwards.
are backwards because this is an airplane controller
Mm-hmm.
and this is a car.
Yes.
So,
All right.
And the servo, which
That's going to be your steering servo, right?
yep, this is my steering servo. It works also, so we go white to yellow
Yes.
because that's
That's signal wires.
Yep. I know you shouldn't do it that, but for those,
There you go.
my controls work.
Yeah, let's find a block.
Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. When I was playing with this for the very first time.
There you go.
Okay, we can turn it back on now.
Yeah, you can ramp it up. Ooh, actually. There you go. Perfect. This is going to be fun.
Okay, so couple things I want to show you. So I am going to turn this off.
Good call.
So this mechanism here with this was the controller that was running the steering before.
That's
and
a huge servo box.
in here there is a geared ratio, a gearbox
Okay.
with a very high ratio.
Yeah, most brush motored gearboxes tend to have a super high ratio.
Yeah, so this thing would just spin super, super fast until, and I've got it plugged in, so it's actually relatively hard to move this piece. And it would move back and forth more than I can move right now because I've got the gears in there.
Yeah.
And, oh, there, actually, it's almost apart. Let me show you. If it
Do-do,
won't-
do-do. You are old.
So
Shoot.
it is a very, I don't know what the math is because I didn't do it, but
I
it's
used to
super,
know what the
super,
math
it's
was.
probably over 100
Yeah.
with those 4 gears. So this would be plugged in right here into this piece and be sticking out that hole there,
Yeah.
and then everything go in
Okay.
there. So that's how it was ran before.
All right.
Obviously, I am changing that to my servo. So if you look in here where the cross arms,
Hang on, let me get to where I can better view what I'm pointing at.
so that piece is what I have to figure out.
Oh, I see it. Okay, so right there in the center of the screen, it's the control rods for your steering servo.
Yes.
Right there for the video. I'm sorry, there's no good way to describe this for the audio.
There really isn't, and I apologize for you who are on the audio today for this portion of it. But this is a monster truck that like I said, a Takeoff monster truck that I've been tearing apart and rebuilding
Yep.
with updated electronics, updated battery, and
Awesome control system.
updated controller system. So what I would like to do, and I don't know if this is going to be possible, is I would like to attach my servo that I currently have to my control rods somehow.
Okay.
Now, I was trying to figure out if I
Where
could
did
use...
you get that servo?
And it's just a servo I had from one of my electronics packs.
All right, that's fine.
Why?
I was just curious.
It should be good enough.
It might have enough torque.
Um,
The tricky part's going to be mounting it, because this is for those. Yeah, so it's the ES08A2 analog servo. It's just so your basic 9-gram servo from Emax. Yeah, you've turned off the thing. So yeah, nothing super exciting.
no, it's not. It's not like a super. Like this is not.
You're not speaking into
A-
the thing.
this is not a racing or a competition vehicle in any way, shape, or form.
No.
This is just for fun. And if I can get some good mounting stuff going on in here, then later, if it's simple to upgrade, I will be doing upgrades to it later. But for now, this is fun. So I have components that I've brought with me.
All right. So I see how we're going to do this.
That is good. The other thing is I want this thing. This thing's got places where its headlights are.
Ooh, Ooh, you want to put in real lights?
I am going to put in real lights.
Awesome.
I would like to be able to control them via a switch on my controller.
That will require your Arduino.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to take the next step of me interfacing it with a smart device that I can send signals to and turn them on and off. But the cab that sits on this on the frame has running lights on the top of it also.
Ooh, power those.
All of the lights, headlights, the running lights on the top, and the tail lights all will eventually light up.
That'll be awesome.
So that's first I want to be able to just cruise the thing around.
Control first.
Yeah.
Power light later.
Lights there. Something I have gotten a bunch of, and I forget what.
Ooh, erector set pieces.
Basically.
So if you go to Lowe's, you get these. They're just the frame pieces from erector sets.
Yeah, basically.
In the hobby and hard to find section drawer.
Yep, and I've got a bunch of different kinds. These are all some.
So there's 2 and 3 hole L brackets
and 4
with holes and slots and stuff.
And then I just have some.
And then some just
single holes and some longer ones.
Get back on the mic.
Some longer ones.
Yeah, perfect.
And whatnot. And then I have some big old flat ones.
Big old flat plates. Perfect. Yeah, that'll be great.
So something should be able to get us there of what we want to do with this. I kept this piece because we can use it because it already has mounting brackets.
The gearbox for the steering servo.
So we can strip everything out of the gearbox because this is where that connects is right here.
Oh, yep.
So I can show you. Let me once again pull this apart for you on the camera.
Again, apologies to the audio portion listeners, auditory listeners.
I put the gears back in. But what we can do is we can interface to that gear somehow. Potentially.
That'll actually be pretty easy.
And then this piece, we can do this will screw right into that piece down there.
Yeah.
And then this piece here
just drops into those brackets.
Right there, and then there's 2 screws already ready for it.
Perfect. I'm going to take a look at this.
So,
because if we can...
Do you want me to take the bracket? Yeah, that whole thing...
Slips right off.
Yeah, it's like... I just have been looking at this, and I just could not figure out how to mount this thing. And I'm probably going to have to do some cutting, which is fine. And those of you who are watching the video, look, I have you.
Too late. I already got my screwdriver.
Do you want this piece out?
No, not at the moment.
That, by the way, is a nightmare.
That will need to
put
come
back
out
together.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Not to take apart. It's really easy to take apart. But when I first put this in, the other thing I was going to do real quick is switch. Thank you. That's like a very happy sound. You know that?
That's a great sound.
I'm going to reverse that one control.
Oh, your throttles?
Yeah.
Your throttle setup?
Yep. That should be channel 2. So I'm going to go in and switch it. If I can remember how to navigate through my... Oh, my gosh. Navigation is... okay, so... Navigating through my controller is something I need to practice more on.
Yes.
So that would be this one here. Should be that one. Oh, whoops, that's not where I switch it. I have to remember where the reverse is.
It's in your outputs.
In my outputs.
Yeah, so go to the outputs page.
There's there's inputs and mixes.
No, outputs.
Oh, outputs. There it is. And then channel 2. And then
there's a little arrow.
And then
Or you can go inside to the edit and reverse it.
Oh, the arrow. Oh, okay. I don't know how to edit that.
Should be as simple as clicking on it and it'll reverse it, switch itself.
Huh.
Did you get it?
No.
Let me see.
I have to go in. Oh, direction.
Yeah, there you go.
Invert. Haha, that's what I was looking for. Okay, so now
Let me flip the switch for you.
turn that back on, and we should. Are we off the ground? We are.
Yes, we are off the
So
ground.
when I press forward,
It breaks.
it's not connected yet. There we go. There we go. Now we're good.
Okay.
No.
Did you run your servo? You may have switched the wrong one.
I can't tell.
Okay. Reverse input 3.
3?
Yeah, input 2 is your servo. Input
Oh,
3. Yeah,
I
so
did it.
reverse 3.
Okay, so let me go back in and reverse that.
Always know which one you're reversing.
Well, I thought I plugged it into channel 2.
Well,
I
you
didn't.
didn't.
Oh, well, and so here's the thing about these controllers that we have. They are very programmable, which makes it very, very awesome for setting things up and working with them, which is why this is a project that I've been craving to do, because it is so versatile. You can do so many things with these. These TARANISes are like fully programmable, basically.
Really, any radio that runs OpenTX can do all this cool stuff.
Yes.
We're just super fans of Free Sky TARANIS. There, it's going the right direction. All right, let's set up the proper adjustment for that. So,
oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. That is awesome sound. You guys might not think it's an awesome sound.
oh, I'm sure they. If
I'm
they've
sure
listened
there's
to this, they
somebody out
probably
there
do.
that thinks that's an awesome sound. So this configuration, I don't know. So Derek's going to have to take a look.
We're going to try and set this up the cool way so that you guys can watch this happen.
Yeah. I don't know how to do the next configuration part of it. Our cameraman is a little heavy on the stick.
That's because I don't like this tripod. Okay, so. Sorry, adjusting my mic.
This is a different setup for us, so
Yeah, this is our first time playing like this. Okay,
yeah, this
so
is
there's your backlight. So we're going to go into the menu. Again, I don't like the small screen on the TARANIS QX7.
it's good enough.
I know, but I still don't like it. Flight modes, no. We need to go into the mixes page.
Right?
Yes.
And channel 3 is the one we're working with.
Roll down to channel 3. And we want to edit it.
And it's
So now we will go down to where it says curve. So here it says curve.
yeah.
I forget what diff is. I think it's differential, but we want to change that to expo. Now we have a couple ways we can go about this. We can go to expo and set that number to a plus or minus number instead of 0, because 0 is just a linear line on the graph.
Yeah.
What we need is a wavy line on the graph.
Yeah. We want it to start low but go up high.
Exactly. So, and I think there's two ways to do that. You can either adjust it with just that number, or you can go over to the page.
You got to exit.
Oh, that's right. Exit. So you can go over to the page labeled curves.
Oh.
So we'll do it this way so we can visualize it better.
That sounds like a good idea.
And
Go down to 3.
No, you can you can just label curve 1 and then tell
it
output 3 to use curve 1.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so we'll go over here. Type. Standard is fine. 5 points is fine. Smooth. 0.1, 0.2. Okay, so this is where we can manually set it. So
So
X is minus 100. Y is 0. we want to adjust the Y. We want this one to be
Well, now remember, center is off.
off. Yes.
Plus minus 100 is full reverse. Plus
Yep.
100 is full forward.
So we're going to change this, the Y on our farthest negative X point to minus 100. So there's minus 100. Then we're going to go to point 2 and say we want a 30% curve. So point 2 we're going to set to, let's say, 30%.
Okay.
Now these are still very linear lines, so we'll fix that in just a minute. Point 3 is going to stay at 0 because we want center of the stick to be
0
off.
Yes.
I need to fix this again. There we go. Now I can get closer. Okay, so point 3 we want it to, or excuse me, not point 3. We need point 4, and we want that to be the positive of point 2. So we take that up to positive 30. Oop, that's the wrong direction.
Okay.
So positive 30.
And
then point 5 we take all the way
all the way positive
all the way to
100.
100. Now what we can do is we want, let's see here. Oh, and then we check the smooth box. So it kind of rounds out our curve.
Alrighty. So then we just apply.
And you can put more points in there so you can get more precise with your stuff.
So you can really go down and really make this. But this is looking pretty good.
Now we're just going to name it throttle real quick. Well, TH, because we're not going to take forever to spell it throttle. So
I'll do that later.
we have set curve 1. All the other curves are stock. So now we're going to page back to our mixes, go down to channel 3, which is our throttle on this one.
And then the curve.
And then we
go down.
we go down to curve. From Expo, instead, we change it to
Custom.
Yep. We go over to the selection.
And we should see
change
TH.
it to TH. Yep.
Very
so
cool.
we now have a throttle curve. So
So
go ahead.
now, when
and
I
play.
throttle up.
Should see.
And
So it's very soft in the center.
So if you heard that, when it had some very soft
Hang on, I'll
center.
get the mic in there.
Okay. It has a very soft beginning, and then you'll hear it ramp up. So I will
There you
probably go in and play with that a little bit more to get a little closer to exactly the way I want it.
Yeah.
But for now, that is great because that gives me an idea of how to set it up. I've never done the curves.
Yeah, that's how you set up custom curves.
And an idea of what this looks like when we do the curves.
Yeah.
So
hopefully that translated well enough for our audio listeners to get an idea of what's going on. If you're familiar with TARANIS radios or OpenTX radios, you know how that works.
Yeah. So now we do. So you have some ideas of how to connect the servo. So real quick though, I have another servo. It's the same kind, but I have
More control arms.
different control arms for the servo. If one would be better than another.
So these are just longer control arms.
Yeah. Right. Oh my! What am I stuck on?
You're stuck on the wheel. There you go.
Right now, the control arm I have on there is just a cross.
The tiny square or 4-point control arm that comes stock on every servo you get.
This one actually came with a different one, and I have more here. So the one that it came with was the single arm. That's the one it came on, and I switched it. But we have these others that we can use too.
Yeah, so plenty of options. Ooh, that round one may actually come in handy.
I know, that's what I was just thinking.
That round one will actually be what we want to use.
And I'm going to
Okay. So
change that out actually right now while you talk about your idea.
So here's my thoughts on what we could do. It could be done with this smaller servo. It would work better with what's considered a standard size servo. I'll actually grab one real quick. I have one.
Oh, okay. like I said, these are just servos that I had from a project. From a project kit because I enjoy Arduinos and I have a lot of them, and have played around with a bunch of different kits and stuff like that. So all of my servos have come from those kits.
Yeah. Okay, so what I have here is an old standard size servo that I got from my father-in-law. It came in a box of stuff he gave me. But it is a JR 537 servo, NES 537. So standard size servo that goes in a lot of bigger planes. As you can see, it's got the round disc for the control arm, which is nice because then you can get a lot of different control points and a lot of different options. It is a bigger servo than the Emax, so put the Emax in my hand just for comparison. There you go. So
yeah,
the JR versus the Emax, you can see the size difference.
There's quite a bit of difference. And I might need to go to something like that. So whatever I end up putting in here will probably be not very permanent.
Yeah. So I don't think the JR makes servos anymore, but you can get high-tech servos, that high-tech HS311.
Okay.
Same size.
Okay.
Same power and stuff, same weight. But my thought has been where these channels are, slip this servo down in there, like so, and then attach those control arms onto this radial, or attach the control rods to this radial control arm.
Okay.
And that will give you the same control as what's there without having to modify the old system of this weird little thingy that's attached to the old gearbox. Honestly, all that would require is rigging up some sort of mounting system for this servo inside there.
So something that I was wondering about and curious is because all servos, their thing is off center. The servo arm is always off center.
Oh, one end over the other?
Yes. And so my concern is it won't line up because this currently is centered.
Centered, yeah.
And that is part of my concern.
Okay, so what you would do, instead of mounting it horizontally like I was just showing, put in some probably balsa or
I've got those metal brackets.
Metal brackets and mount it vertically, like so. Here,
Does it go down far enough?
That is a great question. Let's see. So you can mount it. Get that out of the way. Yeah, it looks like it does. It does. It would be all the way bottomed out, but you could get it right in place of where you need it. That is how I would go about it.
Okay.
Because then you can get it centered, you can get it positioned properly, and you don't have to try and modify the old servo gearbox controller for steering. Again, you can buy an HS311 for $12. And it's a good quality, heavy-duty, standard-size servo. So,
looking at the servo and looking at and knowing what the arm mechanism looks like, this is probably the plan that I'm going to follow. The thing that I have noticed is, and this is what there is a hole all the way through that servo. I mean, through that arm controller.
Yeah.
You might not be able to see it.
I can see it from where I'm at.
But that hole, I could potentially get notches on this to get the notches on there lined up so it will secure it, and then just mount it directly to this thing.
There you
go. Because once I start spinning, the servo, once I make the servo work.
Yeah, you'll just have to play with the travel limits on it to make sure it's traveling as far as it should.
Yeah, which is easy to change.
And as far as the car itself will allow, because it's actually has very limited turning capabilities.
Yeah, I probably have to take off 30 to 40%.
Yeah,
maybe more.
Yeah.
Which I was totally planning on doing that when, I figured I would have to do at least some.
You're fine. I'm just
modifying of the amount of travel, thank you, that the servo is going to do.
Yeah.
So I actually really like this idea of using this. I don't know how much power does this utilize?
It's same as what you're putting out.
Is it?
It'll handle 5 volts.
Oh, okay.
Plug it in and try it. See what happens. Worst comes to worst, it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
because it's old. So
it instantly
centered itself.
itself.
Yeah, that works great. Perfect.
All right. So now I just gotta put some mounting brackets to mount it in vertically instead of horizontally.
Yes.
And
mounting it in there will be the hardest part. If you can find some way to build something that slips into these slot channels that are already there.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because I have, as
so
I showed,
build something that slips in there to hold the thing, and then mount your servo in there, and then slip it into place. That's going to be your best bet.
Yeah, I have. These ones are a little big. Actually, this right here. It's for you audio people. We do apologize a little bit. Hopefully, this is.
We'll go back to the audio only stuff in a minute.
So it looks like I just need to get some sort of combination between the 5 and the 3s of these mounting brackets. These 4, I think, are almost perfect, and they'll slide it right in there.
I would recommend looking at using balsa strip, like balsa blocks.
Oh, you think so? I'm not really concerned so much about weight.
No, I'm not. I'm saying for getting a perfect fit.
Oh, really? You think that would be the best?
Just because then you can better fit it into these slots, and you have a wider range of customized building than you do with these little brackets.
Okay, I can think about
just
that.
a thought. So, however, it's your project, so however you want to do it, it's up to you. That's just.
Thank you for giving me that permission.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm so nice.
I'm glad you are letting me do my project how I want. Now, granted, I did come over and I am asking for your input.
Yeah.
What I text him, I says, hey, I need some input on my project that I'm working on. I need another engineer to look at this. And he's like, sure, and then
that's
he
included
decided,
in the show.
So I could do.
So it's my fault you're having to deal with this. Ooh, that actually. It's pressing out the frame.
Out,
but this is a 3/8 square balsa block.
I have one of those.
But yeah, just stuff like this to slip in there. Of course, something that fits properly. How big is that?
I have no idea. I haven't measured it. But the engineer that I am, I just start doing things, and so it ends up usually costing me more because I break things sometimes. But
that is a 3/4 inch slot.
Okay, so I have to get something 3/4 inch.
But you could get some 3/4 inch square balsa.
Yeah.
And start building yourself a square frame to slip in there.
Yep. And then mount it.
Yeah.
And make it so it fits down. And I can trim out any of the plastic if I have to down at the bottom, but I do like the bracket idea. I think it's a great idea. I could even.
I really wouldn't try modifying the old.
You don't think so?
No, that's going to be a nightmare.
Okay.
Well,
I
wouldn't. I would build a new thing.
I brought it over to show you, so to give you ideas of what
it is.
What is currently set up.
Yeah.
Or was set up. I've obviously dismounted all of that.
Yeah.
And moved on to other things. So the other thing, that's it. That's all I need to do is figure out a mounting bracket that will fit in there because there's a lot of compartments. A lot of space. There's even a battery compartment that I can utilize for anything that I might need.
That can be just wire space.
Yeah, I really don't need the battery compartment, but it's there still.
Yeah.
So if I needed extra weight on the thing, I could put weight in there.
No, I think it's awkward enough. You don't need more weight.
Well then, if you're okay, I will borrow this one, or do you want this one and I will get my own?
I'm trying to think of what I would use that for, because I've got an HS311 that I'm putting in my Spirit for my my spoilers.
Okay. So you think about that.
I'll think about it.
So
I probably will say yes, but I'll think about it.
are we going
for
to
suspenseful sake.
finish up here, or are we going to go back to where we were sitting?
Well, while we're here on my temporary table, we can talk about the project that I've been working on.
Okay. Is that this
frame that's here? So
frame?
Yeah. So let's take a quick pause and move your stuff. I already turned it off.
Okay.
And we'll take a look at my CNC machine. All right. So we're back.
Yeah.
This, as you can sort of see in the thing, and hang on.
Use your words.
Yes. Well, and I'm also going to get our remote camera so that we can get more views and stuff.
Yep.
So this is, as you can see in the video, this is the cutting head of it is the ERC, it's spelled TimSav, but it's the TimeSave CNC foam board cutter.
It is what, a meter by almost a meter?
Yeah, 1 meter. So the main axis, the Y-axis, the long one, is 1 meter long, and the X-axis is 700 millimeters. So perfectly sized to cut on a one square of Dollar Tree foam board. The way it works
Has to be Dollar Tree.
Yeah, it actually really does, because the others are different. So I plug it into my computer.
And this is controlled by an Arduino.
Yes, it is run off an Arduino Uno. This is a cheap Chinese knockoff one, but still. I bought the kit right before he stopped making the kits. The guy that created these no longer makes them, but you can still find... Hang on. Greatest sound ever.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can still find the parts list, so you can build your own. The way it works is there is a servo at the top of the controller, right there, that moves the Z-axis, so the cutting head up and down. And then there's this servo tester that acts as your speed controller. Well, that's connected to your speed controller. And that's what rotates the needle and makes it cut. So as it's rotating, it's puncturing that needle tons and tons of times per second. And
for you that have ever had a tattoo, it's very similar.
Yes, it kind of sounds like that. And it cuts, as you can see in the video here, cuts out the planes. These were test cuts that I ended up failing, but it cuts out really nicely. Oops, I just broke things. Hopefully that didn't kill that video. But I have on my computer the controller for it. There it is. So I'm able to control all the axes as well as put in an actual G code. So hang on and I'll show you that real quick.
So for you that are listening, he has got up his display and he is showing that to everybody else that is not listening. Are you sending it a program now? You can nod your head yes or no.
I will be pulling up a basic one, and then I'll show you how it works.
Okay. So I'm going to navigate from a distance. And right now he's just looking for the program that he wants to load up. He'll load it up, and then I'm assuming we'll run a test.
Yeah, we'll run it without actually cutting it because this table isn't flat enough and everything's out of whack. So
I was going to say this board does feel a little wobbly, and I think you need to get a different support mechanism that it's mounted to.
Yeah, I do. Well, it's not that the board is wobbly, but the board is warped like a potato chip.
Okay. Well, it's wobbly too.
Yeah, it's just
my mic's on it.
Just that corner.
My mic's on it, and my mic is wobbling.
All right, so I've loaded in a test program, one that I use to evaluate, or that I use to test, calibrate it to make sure that it's cutting square. We're not actually going to cut anything, but I'm going to just run the program so you can watch it in motion real quick.
For those of you who are listening, you're just going to hear a little bit of grinding. It is currently moving. Which
So
is,
I have
this is
it
pretty
cut.
cool.
So it cuts out two 35mm squares in this program. So let's see here, get some good. There we go. Now it's moving.
That is pretty cool.
You can see up there in the corner, or in the video now, those are actual cuts of those squares that I ran.
Yep.
And you set, with flight test plans, there are two types of cuts you make. Full cuts, which go through both layers, the paper, foam, and then paper on the far side.
Okay.
And then there's score cuts that only go through paper and a little bit of the foam.
Yeah.
And that's how you make some creases and folds.
Okay.
And you can set this to different depths with that servo that's controlling the up and down so that you get your score cuts and your full cuts.
So, question.
Answer.
Should you have like a foam or something underneath so when it's cutting them through the other side, you're not damaging the needle?
Yes. So because of how high it sits, you have to cut with two layers of foam.
Oh,
a
okay.
base layer that's your scrap layer,
Yeah.
and then your top layer that is actually the cut parts.
Okay, and then because it will go all the way through.
Yeah,
to
it'll
the
puncture
base.
to the second layer.
All right, I was just checking.
But it
see.
will not reach the tabletop.
Yeah, and that's what that base layer is for.
And there you can see that it reached its final position. And everything is showing green on the computer, which means it cut just fine. So it's all done there. So that is, I spent a lot of time getting this set up on this table and then recalibrating it and setting it up on the computer because it's been so long since I built it that I actually forgot how to do it. So I had to go back and learn how to do it. And then I've spent...
So are these cuts the ones that you did since you've put it back on, or are these old cuts?
Those are old cuts.
Okay, so this is going to be your new base plate for a while?
Yeah, it will be. So when I first built this, I wanted to cut out some chuck gliders for my kids to play with.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah, and that's what you can see is the cuts for the chuck gliders. But the cable that powers and runs my my x-axis bound up over here next to the stepper motor.
Oh.
And the stepper motor was turning, but it was slipping.
Oh,
so
okay.
it wasn't actually moving.
So
it messed up the cuts. As you can see, there's a cut.
This one.
That cut is, those two are supposed to meet up at the ends.
Ooh, right here?
There is supposed to meet up right there.
Right there.
So
that's where it didn't move.
Yeah. You can see this little squiggly space right here that's where it got stuck and got pulled out of alignment.
And then
it continued going as it should, but it was no longer in the same position it thought it was in.
And at that point, you were not watching it, right? Because you had set it and forget it.
Well, no, I was watching it because I know any CNC machine, you don't, unless it's even a 3D printer, you shouldn't set and forget. Just because things can go wrong.
You should check on them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You can let them run without 100% monitoring, but you should check on it on a regular basis.
But yeah, with the way this is set up with these loose cables, because I don't have a cable chain yet, I need to be constantly monitoring it to make sure it stays okay.
You need to get yourself a cable chain.
Yeah, I do.
So you can mount that up and have it run with less monitoring, so you can let it run a little bit more by itself.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, a little bit more about this. So it does run on a Arduino Uno, and it has stepper controllers on it, with little heat sinks on there. It controls my X and Y axis, which is my two stepper motors here. And then again, the Z-axis is controlled by that little servo. And I can go in and, so in part of my schooling, I learned G and M code, which is the code used for controlling CNC machines.
Okay.
So I can look over the code that the program generates to cut out the plans that I make. And I can make sure that there's nothing weird in it. And if I want to make any adjustments, I know how to do it.
Very cool.
So
that's actually very cool that you can make those modifications when you need to.
Yeah, it's really nice. So I can look over it, and if I'm like, oh, it's not supposed to be putting the servo up at that point, I can stop it from doing that and make it do the right thing. So yeah. All right, let's rearrange everything and get back to our regular positioning.
All right.
All right, welcome
We're
back. Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled viewing position. Thank you for. Hopefully that turned out as well as I'm imagining.
Yeah.
The intro worked out as well as I imagined it, so hopefully this does too.
I imagine it will, but we'll have to see.
Let us know if you enjoyed that little detour.
And if you did, and if you'd like to see more of us pull up our projects like that, let us know, and we'll be happy to save portions of our project for this. Again, we understand for you that are listening, it makes it a little more challenging, so we'll have to get better at describing what's going on.
Yes.
But just let us know what you think.
Yep. Okay, so continuing on with my projects.
Yeah, so that's...
Because I crashed my Cub and because I crashed and disassembled my Mini Mustang, I am now working on a new flight test plane, which is what inspired the getting the CNC machine working.
Got it.
I am working on the flight test P40.
Okay.
It is a 47 or 45-inch wingspan, warbird.
Wow.
Low wing, ailerons, elevator, rudder, throttle, full controls. It'll have landing gear, non-retractable. And I've spent the last little bit. So the way this CNC controller works, or machine works, and the way you get the program for it is you take the flight test plans, which are colored PDFs.
Okay.
You download them. You import them into a program called Inkscape. And you start removing all the unnecessary stuff, such as labels and outlines and stuff, till all you have left are the cut lines for the parts, the score cuts and the full cuts for the parts.
Okay.
You then separate those out into score cuts and full cuts, and use a special extension plugin to turn those cuts into into cut programs, and that's what outputs your G code. You can put it all together, send it to my controller program, and hit play.
And you can verify because you know how to read the G code.
Yes, I can verify it, make sure there's nothing weird in there, and then also, as you saw, it pulls up a window that shows all the paths and shapes it's going to cut.
Yeah, which is pretty nice that it shows that.
So you can then follow along as it's cutting.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
So I spent a lot of time getting that. I've got all the plans cleaned up and ready to go, and I've got all the G code initially created. I just now need to review and compile it.
Very cool.
And I hope to be cutting on that this weekend, as in after that we're recording. So that you'll hear how it went in our next episode.
I'm excited to see how it works. I mean, how it comes out, how it turns out.
The Chaos Wing, I still need to get the ailerons or the control surfaces mounted, and I still need to sand and cover the vertical fins and get those mounted. I tend to start a lot of projects and then skip around. So don't worry, I will get back to it, just like the EF-16. I'll get back to that too, eventually.
Very cool.
So that is it for my project updates.
All right. Well,
beginner tips?
Yeah, let's move to the beginner tips. So what did you have a beginner tip at all? I mean, you didn't put anything down in our notes.
I didn't. Well, so my battery trick is pretty cool. That's a sweet beginner tip.
Yes.
With the battery straps.
I thought that was pretty cool. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah. One other thing I practiced in the flight simulator is I got out a helicopter, and I learned how to fly an RC helicopter.
Oh, nice.
Surprisingly went a lot better than I anticipated. But the biggest thing I learned from that is what we've said repeatedly and over again, you'll continue to hear over again. Less is more on the sticks.
Yeah.
So being very easy on the sticks so you can ease in and out of things.
Yeah, I've heard those helicopters. They're very, very subtle. So
I learned how to fly upside down.
It takes... Well, I hear it's actually... Most people fly upside down the first time on accident.
Yeah, no, I did it on purpose. I got it up really high. I rolled it over, reversed the pitch of
on the rotors.
On the blades on the rotor, and I hovered it upside down really high in the air because that's wacky. And then I flipped it back over and kept flying in circles. Went really well. Had some great landings.
Very cool.
So did that in Real Flight 8 with their trainer helicopter. So it's got training gear on it, which is pretty sweet. So my helicopter that's up right here above us, that one, the Blade CP Pro.
Yeah, I was looking for it. I was like, I thought we had a helicopter floating around here somewhere.
Yeah, I'm getting to where, like, I'm going to spend the winter practicing how to fly one on the simulator. And then in the spring, I'm probably going to get that
Go
bad
crash
boy.
that one.
Yeah, it'll be great. So that's my beginner tip. Easy on the sticks. Less is more.
Yeah. So what I put down here, and I think this is an expert tip, and this is an advanced tip. This is an expert tip also, in my opinion. Have friends that share your hobby. Really, like the beginner tip here is
Go make friends.
have friends that have this hobby. So you can spend some time. I know right now it's scary to spend time with people, but
Get outside.
get outside, have some friends. Like one or two is all you need,
Yeah.
and spend some time working on your projects with each other. Yes, a lot of the stuff is going to be solo work, but like I said, I text Derek. I says, "Hey, I need an engineer's opinion on this.
Yeah.
What do you think?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then we got together and we talked about it, and we let you guys in on some of what we were planning with that. So
We're sorry, maybe.
hopefully you enjoyed it. And that's my beginner tip.
Well, and with that, like, so there's ways you can go about it. You can either have immediate friends that live nearby that you can get involved with because he just lives across the street, basically. Or you can go to your local club and find people there. There's going to be tons of people.
Yeah.
Or if not worse comes to worse, I don't want to say that, but if it comes down to it, you can join online communities like RC groups.
Yeah.
Or there's another RC podcast, the Aviation RC Noobs. I've met one of the guys that runs that. Great dude.
Okay.
But they have a Discord server where every month or so they do virtual build nights. So everyone will jump in on the video chat
And just
build.
work on
Whatever
whatever
they'll just work on their projects. There's one tomorrow night as of this recording.
So that will be
So
the
October
23rd.
Yeah, October 23rd is
which-
their next build night.
Which you've missed that, those of you that are watching this.
But I'm hoping to be there.
But
So you'll
look-
hear about it in our next episode.
Yeah. And you can look forward to that, look into that later.
The way you get involved
time.
the way you get involved in it is you join their Facebook group, RC Aviation Noobs.
Okay.
Then they will post events there for their build nights with a link to their Discord server. That's the only way to get in.
That sounds very cool, and I might have to check it out also.
If only you weren't
hopefully-
working tomorrow night.
Yeah, if only I wasn't. Tomorrow is a long day for me.
Yeah, but I hope to spend some time tomorrow finishing up my G code while I'm joining in with them and then getting it on the machine and starting cutting. So make friends. There's always a way to find them, be it nearby or far, because I know like the guys for Aviation RC Noob podcast, they're in North Carolina.
So,
But they're going to be on, so it'll be fun.
and I like that, and that's my beginner tip here is, you may have started this by yourself. Get your buddy into it.
And
if
there's
you don't have a buddy, find one.
join a Facebook group. There's tons.
Yeah, join a group that can help you introduce, because once you start getting out there and getting with people, you're going to start seeing that there's actually a larger community than you thought.
Yeah.
And then you'll learn that your buddy three doors down actually does the same thing. You just had no idea because you haven't ever talked to him about it.
Yeah.
Those are all possibilities. And so my beginner tip is, if you don't have a buddy for your hobby, get a buddy for your hobby. It will make the hobby that much funner.
More fun. Whatever.
That much funner.
'Cause we speak English good.
So that's my beginner tip. I mean, also fly, simulator.
Yeah. Get on those sticks and practice.
And for those in the northern hemisphere, this is build season
build season
or simulation season. So get into that and start practicing with that.
and get ready for the freezing flies.
Yeah. Freezing flies. They have
Utah
winter
Valley.
flies?
Yeah, Utah
Oh,
Valley
wow.
Aero Modelers does a freeze fly where they
Oh.
bring out all their planes with snow skis and floats and fly them off the snow.
Oh my gosh. Hopefully we get some snow. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, when they put up that
I could
event
put
on.
my glider could do that.
Oh yeah. So
That's fun. I need to
hopefully we'll
some,
get out to that.
need to get some skis for those simple sticks. I mean the slow sticks.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be easy to do.
That'd be fun. I
Do-
could make them myself.
Yeah, you could. Dubro makes skis.
I'm not going to make them myself. I'm just saying I could.
Yeah. You could 3D print them if you had the printer.
I don't. That is on my list.
That's on my list too.
Anything else? Anything?
I think
else?
that is it.
I feel like we've gone long.
We've
but that we probably
chewed
haven't.
their ears up for about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, it might edit down a little more, but
Still, thank you for sticking around. If you've watched through this whole thing or listened through the whole thing, hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought. Be sure to hit the like, comment, subscribe buttons. Smash
Whatever.
the bell.
give us, a thing.
Give us feedback.
Yeah,
Let us
feedback.
know what you
Yeah.
like, what you don't like.
Tell us.
Did you like our little tabletop discussion?
Yep. And remember, when flying inverted, up is down and down is expensive.
Yes.
RPM is how hard you hit the ground, and torque is how far you have to dig to get it out.
Hopefully you don't have to dig in the frozen ground. So, see you next time, guys.